Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, January 17th. I'm Laura Cornfield, and this is IBA News broadcasting live from Jerusalem. We open with the ongoing investigation against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The publisher of the Yediot Achronot newspaper, Arnon Moses, was today questioned for the third consecutive day at the Lahav 433 anti-fraud unit in Lod for his role in the so-called 2000 affair. Moses is being grilled over conversations he had with the Prime Minister, where the two are heard discussing ways of keeping Netanyahu in power and giving him more favorable coverage in the leading newspaper. This in return for the Prime Minister's efforts to advance legislation that would reduce the impact of the Free Yisrael Hayom daily, considered Yediot's top competitor and owned by Netanyahu's close friend Sheldon Adelson. Also appearing today at the police investigation unit was Amos Regev, the editor of the Free Yisrael Hayom daily, who arrived to give his testimony in the case. Police are trying to find out if any further actions were taken following the meetings between Netanyahu and Moses, and if any other newspaper editors or MKs had any idea about their intentions. On Monday, Channel 2 released more excerpts from the recorded talks in which the two discussed ways to reduce the circulation of Yisrael Hayom. For his part, Police Chief Roni Ashech today reacted to the ongoing investigation, telling reporters it will not be long before the probe is over. Al-Sheikh denied that anyone from the police was responsible for leaking transcripts of the recorded conversations to the media, and said that any decision to further proceed with the case will be given by the Attorney General. Meanwhile, Attorney General Avichai Mandelblit has for the first time publicly reacted to the ongoing investigation. Speaking at the Netanya College last night, Mandelblit said he is considering releasing the recordings of conversations between Netanyahu and Moses to the public, but only once the investigation is over. Doing so at this point, Mandelblit said, would hinder the probe. The Attorney General stressed that all of those currently involved in the investigation are working in a purely professional manner, only taking into account the best interests of the probe. At the same time, Mandelblit rejected criticism of his handling of investigations involving allegations against the Prime Minister. The Army is investigating the death of 22-year-old Corporal Vyacheslav Gregai from Rishon LeZion, who was killed last night while carrying out maintenance work on a Namer armored vehicle during a Golani Brigade exercise at a base in the Golan Heights. Gregai was airlifted to the Rambam Hospital in Haifa, where he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Gregai served as a technician in the Ordnance Corps of the Golani Brigade. Head of the Northern Command, Major General Aviv Kochavi, ordered an investigation into the incident. Corporal Gregai will be laid to rest at 12 o'clock on Thursday at the military cemetery in his hometown of Rishon LeZion. IDF Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Gadi Eisenkot, will undergo a medical procedure at Beilinson Hospital in Petach Tikva in the coming days. During his hospitalization, he will be temporarily replaced by Deputy Chief of Staff, Major General Yair Golan. No details were released by the Army concerning the procedure. However, Eisenkot is considered to be in good physical condition. Legal discussions over an expected plea bargain in the case of Brigadier General Ofek Buchris, accused of sexual misconduct against female subordinates, got underway today at a special military court in Tel Aviv. Speaking at the start of today's hearing, Buchris, who was originally charged with 17 counts of sexual offenses, said he takes full responsibility for his actions, which he expressed sincere regret for. Buchris said that for 3 decades he served the country with great love and loyalty. He added that despite his resignation from the Army, he hopes to continue to contribute to the state. As part of his plea bargain agreement, Buchris will be demoted to rank of colonel, but will not be sent to prison. He has confessed to 2 offenses on a revised indictment, including prohibited sexual activity and indecent conduct. Several character witnesses arrived at the court today to testify on his behalf, including some bereaved parents of soldiers who served under him, and retired General Avi Mizrahi, who called Buchris a brave warrior. A 3-judge panel is expected to officially approve the plea bargain agreement at a separate hearing in 2 weeks' time. As part of the ongoing crackdown against terror and illegal weapons, hundreds of police converged on the Shoafat refugee camp overnight, where a number of suspects were arrested.
More than 300 police officers were involved in an operation searching for weapons and potential terrorists inside the Shoafat refugee camp. The operations took place after strong and concrete intelligence was gathered. This is the 8th operation that has taken place in the last couple of weeks. And altogether 9 suspects were arrested. Weapons were found, as well as other materials, bullets, knives, guns. and this is part of the operations which will no doubt continue as long as necessary in order to make sure that Jerusalem will be safe and that the nearby neighborhoods, as we can see, and the close distances will be able to make sure that we can find potential suspects before they get inside any populated areas.
Sheikh Raed Salah, the head of the outlawed northern branch of the Islamic movement, was released today from prison after serving a 9-month sentence for inciting to violence in a sermon 10 years ago. With the approval of the Interior Minister, Aryeh Deri, Salah will not be able to leave the country for the next 6 months. Last week, police recommended that Salah be charged once again on similar offenses. Investigators from the police Lahav 433 unit said they have incriminating evidence to file another indictment against him on grounds of incitement to violence and terrorism. The Hezbollah terror group claims it has found the IDF drone which crashed in southern Lebanon yesterday afternoon. Unconfirmed reports on Hezbollah's Al-Manar television station said the drone was taken to a safe place where it will be examined. An IDF spokesman said the drone was the small Sky-like model by Elbit and was on an operational mission when a technical malfunction caused it to crash. Reports from Lebanon said the Lebanese army was seen searching the area but failed to locate it because of the dense woodlands. This was the second aircraft to be lost yesterday after an observation balloon in the Benjamin Brigade headquarters near Ramallah broke loose and floated into the Palestinian Authority area. The balloon was later returned to Israel. 28 European Union ministers who convened in Brussels to discuss the Middle East peace process failed to endorse Sunday's declaration that emerged from the Paris Peace Summit and last month's anti-Israel UN Security Resolution 2334. According to media reports, Britain and Balkan countries fobbed off attempts by France and other member states to adopt the recent summit declaration. EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini, however, rejected the report, saying that no conclusions were adopted by the ministers. She emphasized that the EU strongly supports the UN resolution, as well as the declaration drawn up at Sunday's Paris Peace Summit. Speaking to reporters, Mogherini also responded to reports that U.S. President-elect Donald Trump plans to move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem.
We will for sure not move our delegation that is in Tel Aviv. And we hope that there can be a reflection on consequences of any move that is taken. We still do not have a new U.S. administration. We have an administration in the U.S., not a new one yet. And I believe that it is very important for us all to refrain from unilateral actions, especially those that can have serious consequences in large sectors of public opinions in large parts of the world.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry defended the Obama administration's efforts to reach a Middle East peace agreement, saying failure to achieve such a deal was due to the unwillingness of both the Israelis and Palestinians to negotiate toward an accord. In a farewell interview with CNN's Christiana Amanpour, the outgoing top diplomat wished the Trump administration the best of luck in bringing peace to the region.
When you say another administration has failed to do this, no. The leaders of the two countries involved, one country and one entity, the Palestinian Authority, have failed to come to the table and reach agreement. You know the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. We did a lot of leading to a lot of water, but people decided they weren't ready for one reason or another to move.
And one reason or another is what you described.
And that is one of the reasons why we at the United Nations made the decision we made, because we believe that Israel has a major choice and the Palestinians have a major choice. The choice we put to Israel is, if you want to be a Jewish state and you want to be a democracy, you cannot be a unitary state. And right now, they're marching down the road because of the increased settlements, because of the absence of a legitimate negotiation towards that possibility. And all we're trying to do is speak as a good, solid, best friend of Israel. And we've done more for this government, more for Israel, than any other administration with Iron Dome.
Do you think they're ungrateful? Do you think Prime Minister Netanyahu is ungrateful?
I'm not characterizing it in any way whatsoever, except to say that we speak out of a caring and concern for Israel as a democratic and Jewish state. And we also speak out of concern for the Palestinians who will not be able to satisfy their aspirations ever without the ability to be able to create a state. So both have a huge interest in being able to move this forward. And we wish the administration coming in all the luck in the world if they find a different formula that will actually work. But I will be stunned if the Arab world writ large and the Palestinians in particular, because everybody has said the parties have to arrive at an agreement. I guarantee you the Palestinians are not going to agree to less than a state based on 1967 lines with swaps. They're just not going to do that.
Qatar has donated $12 million towards the purchase of fuel for Gaza's only power plant. The move came after residents in Gaza went to the streets to protest the lack of power in the enclave, where they receive less than 3 hours of electricity a day. The Palestinian Authority, which normally pays for the power supplied by Israel and Egypt, transfers fuel to Gaza and exempts it from most taxes. But because of its own financial constraints, it has recently stopped doing so. Hamas at first tried to stop the protests, but now encourages them. In recent weeks, there's been growing dissent among the population in Gaza, with many daring to criticize Hamas, who instead of using the funds received to improve living conditions in the enclave, opts to boost its rocket capabilities and tunnel construction. Following a nationwide manhunt of nearly 2.5 weeks, Turkish authorities have confirmed the arrest of the terrorist who massacred 39 people at an Istanbul nightclub on New Year's Eve. The terrorist, identified as Abdul Kadir Masharipov, an Uzbek national who underwent terrorist training in Afghanistan and entered Turkey in early 2016, was captured in a raid by security forces on a house in a residential district of Istanbul, relatively close to where the attack took place. Police found nearly $200,000 in cash, drones, and 2 handguns during the arrest. His fingerprints were subsequently matched to those on the Kalashnikov rifle used in the killings. Authorities in Istanbul told reporters that Masharopov had confessed to the attack, which he carried out on behalf of the Islamic State. Several other suspects were arrested in connection to the attack in recent days, including 2 Chinese nationals. Germany's far-right National Democratic Party received a new lease on life today as the country's Supreme Court rebuffed efforts to ban it from participating in electoral politics. The suit was brought by members of the upper house of parliament who accused the NDP of racism and anti-Semitism, which they believe violate the German constitution. A previous effort to ban the party in 2003 also failed. This is the second anti-Semitism-related case to make waves in Germany in recent days. Last week, a regional court stated that the 2014 firebombing of a synagogue in Wuppertal was not anti-Semitic because it was intended to call attention to the Gaza conflict. A special screening of the film My Hero Brother, sponsored by Shutaf Inclusion Programs, Nefesh B'Nefesh, and the Jerusalem Cinematheque, is scheduled for Monday, January 23rd at the Jerusalem Cinematheque. The movie is a touching story of a group of young people with Down syndrome that embark on a challenging trek through the Himalayas along with their siblings. The evening includes a talk with the film's producer and wine and cheese. The Shutaf Inclusion Programs, founded and run by immigrants, is celebrating 10 years, offering year-round activities for children, teens, and young people with and without disabilities. The movie is in Hebrew with English subtitles. Tickets cost 40 shekels, but only 20 shekels for New Olim.
תסתכלי לי בעיניים. זה קשה לי. קשה לך להסתכל לי בעיניים? אני אחותך.
זו ההזדמנות שלכם לחזק את הקשר.
Authorities in the Tel Aviv district are going bananas in search for a small monkey that escaped from the Ramat Gan safari on Monday. The little primate, who goes by the name of Connor, is a 17-year-old male of the capuchin species. While the monkey is not said to pose any danger to the public, zoo staff are urging people not to approach him or make loud noises that can scare him if spotted. They are calling on the public to immediately contact safari or municipality personnel at star 9106 if they have any information on Connor. In local money matters, shares were up on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange while the shekel was mixed in foreign currency trading. Here are the numbers. And the IBA weather team says tomorrow will be partly cloudy but fair, and there will be a drop in temperatures. Here are the highs and lows. And that's all for this newscast. Ari O'Sullivan will be at this desk tomorrow, same time, same channel. Until then, I'm Laura Cornfield wishing you a good evening and shalom from Jerusalem.